we talk about prayer and fasting and almsgiving is they're all supposed to go together. And one of the ways that fasting and almsgiving are meant to be connected is that if you're a little smarter with the way that you budget your food and work around your fridge, you kind of free up some stuff to be able to be more generous, don't you?
Oh, yeah. And, I was thinking that not everybody has a lot of money to give. Most of us don't. And some might even think they don't have anything worth giving. But you know what? I was thinking there's some sacrifices we can all make, especially during Lent, that will pay dividends. And I'm thinking financially for Sacred Heart, spiritually, and even physically for us, for the giver.
Well, there are so many stories in the Bible of people who had almost nothing, and they gave just a little bit, and it made a massive difference. And you had one of those that you wanted to highlight this morning.
Oh, yeah. The story of Elijah and the widow, a pretty familiar one. And what happened was Elijah had just declared a drought, and then he found this widow and her son. They had so little that they were expecting just to die after their next meal, Matt. And then, of all things, Elijah asks her for some bread, and she said, oh, my gosh, as the Lord your God lives, I have nothing baked, and all I've got is a handful of flour in my jar and a little oil in my jug. Well, Elijah tells her to make him a cake, and don't be afraid. He promised that the Lord wouldn't allow her flour and oil to run out. So she trusted the Lord. He kept the promise, and she and her son ate for a long time. So I think that tells us a whole lot, don't you, as far as giving and maybe being more generous?
Yeah, and I think, too, what it showed is that Elijah was trying to do the work of God out in the world, and the widow trusted him, right? And that's part of the story. Do we trust God to take care of us if we become generous? Because we're all called to be generous, even if we, the only thing we can do is take a little time to help out at the parish or something if we can't give, right? I mean, we're all called to do something. Even kids are called to, give their time and volunteer and contribute to the life of the church in some way. But let's get back to this idea of stretching a recipe. Because one of the things that you can easily blow money on is looking in the fridge, seeing stuff and be like, I don't feel like eating any of this stuff. And then you go spend money on an entire new meal or you go out to eat. What are a few recipes you have for this morning that can help maybe stretch stuff that's already in the fridge that was just going to get thrown out?
Well, I have a few, and you just said it so well. You don't need all kinds of fancy and expensive ingredients to survive. And in that refrigerator, there's probably a couple good meals from leftovers. I'm going to let you choose because I have some recipes. I have a bubble and squeak, and it's sort of like a big hash that's made in the skillet. Turns out like a big, thick pancake. Delicious. A hot chicken, or it could be a tuna salad. And what I call restaurant-worthy pasta sauce, and then some potato candy that's made out of leftover mashed potatoes that a listener wanted. And whatever recipes we don't get to today, of course, I will have on my site with photos. So you choose.
Yeah, so I'll have these all linked. I'm in the process of putting up all of them on the website at sunrisemorningshow.com in the show notes. But I want to talk about your hot chicken salad because if you go to the grocery store and you buy a pack of chicken breasts, it's gotten more and more expensive. The cheapest way that I know to buy chicken is to go buy a rotisserie chicken, right? An actual chicken. You got to do the work of cutting it up. But I think a lot of people end up just throwing away a lot of the carcass when they're done, and you can use a lot more of that chicken than you realize after you've used it for a meal.
Oh, yeah, and the carcass itself, throw it in some water with some onion, celery, and then you've got a great chicken stock. But hot chicken salad is quite popular, actually, and as I said, you could also sub in tuna. So here's what you do. What you're going to do, in a big bowl, you're going to cut up some diced onion and celery, couple cups of shredded chicken, and the deli, as you said, works so well because it's so flavorful. A little sage and thyme, or even poultry seasoning, and some lemon juice, and then some mayonnaise, some salt and pepper, and some cheddar cheese. Sounds like a lot, but it all goes into a big bowl. You mix it all together, and then you pour it in a sprayed baking dish, and I use about a 9x9 because I like it a little thicker. And then you take a little bit of some potato chips and I like the rippled ones, and if you have any chopped green onions, those go on top. But basically, you want to bake that about 350, only for about 15 or 20 minutes, because basically, again, everything's cooked through. You want to just warm it through. Really, really delicious. And leftovers, if you want, make a great cold sandwich for the next meal.
It's fantastic. And you know, one of the easiest things and cheapest things you can buy is potatoes, right? Potatoes is, you know, one of the more cost-effective things to get in the store. But who wants to eat mashed potatoes every night for the rest of their life? I mean, Anna Mitchell might. But some more creative ways to use this, potatoes and peanut butter. Now, this might sound crazy to people, but I have eaten these potato peanut butter pinwheels before, potato candy we always called them, and
no
I love these things.
Oh, my gosh. It's such an old-fashioned recipe. Again, waste not, want not. And they call it potato candy, peanut butter pinwheels. And basically, what you're going to do, you're going to take some plain mashed potatoes, some butter and powdered sugar, and then you're going to make a dough out of that. And you're going to roll it out and then smear some creamy peanut butter on for the filling. And then you roll it up like a pinwheel. And I just put it in the fridge and then just slice it up. It's so delicious. A great way to I use those leftover russet potatoes that are starting to sprout because they know it's spring. So, and it's fun and wonderful lesson for the kids, too. Again, waste not, want not. And maybe throw in a few Bible stories in there as you go.
I'm Matt Swain from the Sunrise Morning Show. Thanks for watching. We encourage you to like and subscribe so we can continue to share more great conversations. And be sure to visit us at sunrisemorningshow.com.